Iran and Israel have continued to trade deadly blows into the weekend, following an unprecedented Israeli attack on Friday aimed at destroying Tehran's nuclear program and decapitating its military leadership. Iran launched multiple waves of missiles and drones toward Israel throughout the day on Saturday. Simultaneously, Israel undertook new airstrikes against Iranian targets, with Iran claiming that Israel set a critical natural gas field ablaze, as well as an oil depot. The skies above Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem were lit up Saturday by incoming missiles, drones, interceptor rockets, and explosions. Both sides have threatened more to come. Israel's military and intelligence operation against Iran early Friday was unprecedented in scale and scope, prompting Iran to vow a crushing response as the escalating conflict risks pulling the Middle East into a wider war. Here's what you need to know. Israel and Iran trade missile attacks. Shortly before sunrise in Iran on Friday, Israel launched the first strikes of its operation against the regime's nuclear program. That operation, called Rising Lion, had two prongs: heavy airstrikes against at least one of Iran's enrichment sites, and more targeted strikes in Tehran to decapitate the regime's military leadership. It aimed to halt what Israel said was Tehran's rapid progress in developing nuclear weapons. At a United Nations Security Council meeting on Friday, Iran's UN envoy Amir Saeed Iravani said the Israeli strikes had killed at least 78 people and injured more than 320, mostly civilians. Israel's attack came after years of threats and days of heightened speculation, but without the United States' blessing. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump stressed that Israel acted unilaterally and that Washington was not involved. Iran hit back on Friday evening, launching what state media said were hundreds of ballistic missiles as part of a crushing response. Iran claimed that it struck Israeli military-industrial centers used for producing missiles and other military equipment. But Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said that Iran had crossed red lines by firing missiles at civilian population centers and vowed it would pay a very heavy price. At least 3 people were killed in Israel and dozens injured by Iranian strikes, Israeli authorities said. Overnight into Saturday, Israel and Iran continued to trade deadly missile attacks, unleashing destruction in both countries and forcing residents to flee to underground shelters. In Israel, emergency crews launched search and rescue efforts on Saturday, as people remained trapped under destroyed homes and buildings, while explosions were heard in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The Israeli Air Force said it carried out a new wave of strikes hitting defense arrays in Tehran overnight, and the Israeli military said it struck 2 Iranian Air Force bases used for missile and drone operations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel's operation would continue for as many days as it takes to eliminate Iran's nuclear threat. Tehran, which insists its nuclear program is peaceful, says it has no option but to respond. Where and when did Israel strike? Iran has not seen such a widespread assault in a single day since the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s. Israel targeted locations all across the capital city, Tehran, and around the country. The first explosions tore through Tehran at around 3:30 a.m. Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday. Videos geolocated by CNN showed flames and smoke billowing from buildings across the city. Residents of Tehran were blindsided. Many did not expect Israel to strike so swiftly. I didn't know what was happening. It was really scary, a 17-year-old Iranian told CNN, requesting anonymity due to safety concerns. Shortly after explosions rocked Tehran, Israel struck elsewhere in the country. Israel's military said it used jets to strike dozens of military targets, including nuclear targets in different areas of Iran. An explosion was reported at Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz, about 250 kilometers, 150 miles south of Tehran. The United Nations nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, confirmed that Natanz had been hit, but said it had not observed an increase in radiation levels in the area. Israel later claimed that it had hit a second nuclear facility in Isfahan. On Saturday, flames erupted at Iran's South Pars gas field, the world's largest natural gas field, according to reports in Iranian state media. Video footage circulating on social media and geolocated by CNN shows a large blaze and plumes of smoke rising from the gas field in Iran's southern Bushehr province. The oil field was hit by an Israeli drone strike, according to the Iranian state media reports. Later, Iranian state media reported that an Israeli strike hit the Sharan oil depot and a separate fuel tank near Tehran, causing a large fire. What did Israel say? Israel will strike every target of Iran's regime, Netanyahu said in a video address on Saturday, as his country and Iran continued to trade blows. In the very near future, you will see Israeli planes, the Israeli Air Force, our brave pilots above the skies of Tehran, Netanyahu said. We will strike every site and every target of the Ayatollah's regime, he warned. Netanyahu had earlier said Israel would continue its operation for as long as it takes to remove these threats. Netanyahu claimed that Iran had in recent years produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 nuclear weapons. Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months, he said. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's survival. Tehran is burning. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz posted to X on Saturday, accompanying a video showing a large blaze near the Iranian city. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, also said it had destroyed Iran's ballistic missile launch sites and stockpiles. Addressing the Iranian people directly in a video released Friday night local time, Netanyahu warned more is on the way, urging civilians to stand up and let your voices be heard. He said Israel's fight is not against them, but against the Iranian government. Who did Israel kill? Several of the most important men in Iran's military and its nuclear program were killed in Israel's strikes. Major General Hossein Salami, head of the Secretive Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, was the highest profile of those killed. Israel also said it killed Major General Mohammad Bagheri, Chief of Staff of Iran's armed forces, Ali Shamkhani, a close aide to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and Ali Hajizadeh, commander of the IRGC's Air Force. 9 scientists and experts involved in Iran's nuclear program were also killed, Israel's military said. This includes Ali Bakhtiari Karimi, Mansour Askari, and Saeed Barji, experts in mechanics, physics, and materials engineers respectively, the IDF said. Iran replaces assassinated top commanders. Israel's strikes on Iran killed several Iranian commanders on Friday, including Major General Mohammad Bagheri, Iran's highest-ranking military officer, and Major General Hossein Salami, who was the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, an elite wing of the Iranian military. How has the U.S. responded? The Trump administration, which has been pursuing a diplomatic path with Iran in recent weeks, sought to distance itself from Israel's attack. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Israel's actions were unilateral. Although Israel notified the U.S. ahead of its strikes, Rubio said the U.S. was not involved in the attack. Our top priority is protecting American forces in the region, he added. Earlier this week, the U.S. had made efforts to arrange the departure of non-essential personnel from various countries in the Middle East, leading to speculation that an Israeli attack on Iran could be imminent. Nonetheless, the U.S. helped Israel intercept Iranian missiles on Friday evening. 2 Israeli sources have told CNN. Other countries in the region also supported Israeli air defenses, one source said. President Trump urged Iran to agree to a new nuclear deal before there is nothing left, suggesting that follow-up Israeli attacks on the country would be even more brutal. Trump said he had given Iran chance after chance to make a deal. Just do it before it is too late, he wrote on Truth Social, his social media platform. What happened to the last Iran nuclear deal? Under a 2015 nuclear deal struck by former U.S. President Barack Obama, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, Iran agreed to drastically limit its number of centrifuges and cap uranium enrichment at levels far below those required to make weapons, in exchange for sanctions relief. But during his first term as president in 2018, Trump withdrew from the JCPOA, saying the rotten structure of the agreement was not enough to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear bomb. He ramped up sanctions on Iran and threatened to sanction any country that helped the regime to obtain nuclear weapons. In his second term, Trump has revived efforts to strike a new nuclear deal with Iran. Just hours before Israel strikes, the president cautioned Israel against launching an attack while U.S.-Iran talks are ongoing. As long as I think there's an agreement, I don't want them going in because that would blow it. Might help it, actually, but also could blow it, Trump said.